Starting us off at number 10 is Macbeth, which is probably the most well-known cursed word on this list, so I thought I'd just, ease us in. Now, if you've ever been a part of theatre or have gone to the theatre, you know that saying Macbeth inside a theatre is just a no-go unless you're actually rehearsing the play. If you're not, then it's pretty much universally believed to be cursed with giving out bad luck. People refer to it most commonly as the Scottish play. The word got its reputation after a long series of unfortunate events. In its first performance in 1606, the actor playing Lady Macbeth died out of nowhere and Shakespeare himself had to replace him. In another production in Amsterdam, the actor playing King Duncan was killed in front of the audience when a real dagger was used instead of a prop. How does someone make that mistake? Whoever the set manager was, fire him right away. Or her. Actor Harold Norman played Macbeth and died after his stage battle in 1947. Actor deaths aside, the play's staging has brought about many audience riots as well. Now, I've done theatre since I was 6, I did drama at university as well, and I've never seen an audience riot, so that's something. Many believe Shakespeare cursed the play himself by using real spells in the Three Witches dialogue. Skeptics, however, have disagreed, claiming the play has been staged over 400 times. Of course accidents are gonna happen. I mean, accidents are forgivable, that's completely fine, but 3 actors dying in the same play, that's more than an accident, don't you think? Coming in at number 9 is Youre Dying. If there's one word doctors avoid saying like it's the plague, it's dying. In a study done a few years ago, it was found that with patients who were dying, only 11% of doctors actually told them about the possibility of them dying. It's always euphemisms like treatment isn't going our way or the patient is failing to thrive, and neither of those point to death. Take Nora, a journalist for the LA Times for example. Her husband was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, yet none of his doctors told him he was going to die. 2 days prior, all the specialists were talking optimistically about buying him more time, and then like that, it was treatment isn't going our way. Again, no one has mentioned that he's dying, it's just more euphemisms. In this day and age, technology has advanced so much that doctors don't even rely on talking to their patient for a diagnosis. It's all about scans and test results. So intangible things like talking to the patient kind of just got lost in translation somewhere. And it's enshrined in the system as well. We all know how long doctors spend in medical school, like it's a long ass time. And in 4 years of medical school, the average amount of instruction on dying and death is only 17 hours. That is shocking. In 2013, out of 49 accredited schools for public health, only 3 offered a course on end-of-life care. So there is a gap in the system for sure, and I understand it. I mean, schools don't want to spend time on death because death is seen as a medical failure, and we're not here to fail, we're here to save lives. And I can't even imagine how hard it would be to have to tell someone that they're dying, but there's so many people like Nora's husband who will be blindsided if they don't. At number 8, we have the number 13. At least 10% of the US population has a fear of the number 13. Fear of Friday the 13th results in losses of over $800 million annually because people avoid traveling, getting married, or even working that day. There's so many apartment buildings I've been to here in Toronto, and a lot of them don't have a 13th floor, and I actually found out that 80% of high-rise buildings in the US also don't have a 13th floor either. But where did this fear of the number 13 even come from? Some say it's due to the Code of Hammurabi, one of the oldest legal documents in the world, because it left out a 13th law from its list, when really the omission was just human error from the translator. Others believe it's because mathematicians and scientists always put such an emphasis on the number 12. It was the perfect number in the ancient world, that's why our calendars have 12 months, one day is 2 12-hour halves, so because of having to follow the perfect number, people find 13 to be lacking. I literally don't even know what that means. How can a number be lacking? What expectations do numbers even have that we find any of them lacking? What are they lacking? Numerical? Is that even a thing? I don't even know. Either way, others point to the 13th guest appearance as the reason why people think the number is cursed. At the Last Supper, Judas Iscariot was the 13th guest to arrive, and he was the one that betrays Jesus. That's one. Number 2, in Norse lore, they believe turmoil and evil were brought into the world by the mischievous god Loki at a dinner party party in Valhalla. He was the 13th guest as well. So I mean, there is a lot of backing as to why people think it's bad luck or curse, so which side do you guys fall on? 13 yay or 13 nay? Filling our number 7 slot is he who should not be named. We all know what the word is that I'm not saying, but why was it such a thing to not say the word? Well, Voldemort was the most powerful dark wizard of all time. Despite being defeated by Harry Potter, he still had a huge loyal following of Death Eaters that seemed to always just be around. On top of that, many believed he wasn't even gone for good. Wizards like Dumbledore believed he was still alive in some form and would try and return he did. Plot twist, spoiler alert. And being the biggest dark wizard, people were terrified of him, even his memory scared people. So wizards and witches alike just felt safe in not saying his name. They used to not say it when he was at the peak of his power to feel safer, and that just continued even after the whole Harry Potter debacle. And it's like the old saying goes, you know, speak of the devil and he doth appear. I feel like the same sentiments were shared about Voldemort, which is why no one ever said his name. And I know this isn't part of the real world, but as a Potterhead I just had to include it. It was just my duty. Just let it go, guys. Now at number 6 is the number 39. I feel like at this point people are more scared of numbers than there are of words, which I don't get, but here we go. But anyway, in Afghanistan, the number 39 has a very bad reputation. It's like a badge of shame almost. The number was said to have been associated with the pimp that lived in Herat. He was called 39 because his car's registration plate and his apartment number had 39 in it. The number also translates to Mordagao, which means dead cow in Dari, but it's also a really popular slang term for a pimp. But as this pimp came into the limelight, locals started linking the number 39 to pimping and prostitution and wanted nothing to do with it. Corrupt police officials charged more money to change the 39 license plate. Some people just used black tape to change the 3 into an 8, which I mean it's nifty. I gotta give you that. One local who had 39 in his phone number told BBC how he would get numerous calls asking if he had any prostitutes. Despite the government telling everyone 39 is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just a number, you guys, it made little to no difference in public opinion. Coming in at number 5 is the number 17. Yes, I know, many numbers and there are many more to come. But anyway, by now we kind of get the drift that certain numbers in certain countries are considered cursed or bad luck. To add to that list, the number 17 is considered very unlucky and cursed in Italy. The reason behind this is because if you write it in its Roman numerical form, XVII, and then change it anagrammatically to VIXI, that in Latin means I have lived, whereas the perfect tense means my life is over. Which honestly is just not the kind of energy I need from a number. You know, it's 2019, I just don't need those bad vibes in my life. I don't. Let's get rid of those. Like in previous cases, it's common in Italy for buildings not to have a 17th floor, and most hotels don't even have a room 17. Even the Italian airline Alitalia doesn't have a seat 17. But honestly, I feel like that's a reach. The number 17 was perfectly fine. Who told anyone to rearrange its Roman numerical version into a death omen? No one. Absolutely no one. At number 4 is the number 4. Now this one is a bit less known because most people know 13 is a cursed number, but in Chinese culture people avoid the number 4 like nobody's business. The reason for that is the way you say 4 in Chinese sounds very similar to the word for death in Chinese. The same thing goes for the number 4 in Japanese and Korean. And it's a huge deal. Special care goes into avoiding the number in everyday life. Saying it around a sick relative is strongly frowned upon, and you're never meant to give 4 of something to anyone. Like the number 13, many Asian elevators skip the 4th floor in buildings, and even military aircraft and ships avoid the number 4. April the 4th is the worst day of the year. It's like the equivalent of Friday the 13th, and it's not just the number 4, it's 14, it's 42, it's 24, it's numbers that contain 4. Sometimes in restaurants there is no table 4 or table 14. If they wanted to include it, it would take the form of 3A or 13A. And it even plays into their economy and real estate. Neighborhoods that don't have 4 in their street name are more profitable than ones that do. And it 100% should not make an appearance in your phone number, your address, or your ID number, because that is severe since the number is personally attached to you. Filling our number 3 slot is being mean. I know that's really broad, but it has religious backing, just hear me out. In the Bible it says death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. There is either evil or good behind the words people speak, and the book of James sheds a lot of light on this. synonymous. It says the tongue is a restless evil full of deadly poison. With it we praise God and curse men. We can get cursed from literally anyone, witches, satanists, and even by people who are close to us like our parents. Say if a mum tells her son that he's stupid, that is cursing him. A demonic spirit could be assigned to follow him around and put stupid thoughts into his head. The more stupid he does, the more he sees himself as stupid and starts to believe that lie, that curse, and then the spirit can enter his soul and his body. Words, nice or bad, activate the Holy Spirit or the demon spirits to perform what you spoke into existence. Word curses and speaking negatively activate the demonic realm, so it's really your choice. Your words can either bless you or curse you. You decide. Now at number 2 is syphilis. Now this one is more about the fear of writing a word rather than the fear of saying it. During the 15th and 16th centuries, the fear of contracting syphilis was so rife that doctors wouldn't even write the word. Instead, they just write the Greek letter sigma, and that signified that you had syphilis. Even today's modern medical textbooks advise students to not write syphilis and just use sigma instead. I mean, I completely understand their fear of syphilis. I mean, if you don't treat it, you could become disabled, develop a neurological disorder, or even die. The fear is completely justified, but I just don't get how they thought writing the word would higher their chances of contracting it. Last time I checked, writing on paper isn't the same as sexually transmitting a disease, but okay, we'll let bygones be bygones. And finally, at number 1 is 666. So in popular culture, 666 has become synonymous with the devil or the Antichrist. Even me, I never even knew where they got the number from, but I was like, damn, 666 is a really messed up number. I never want to encounter that. Little old me, naive young me. Other people believe the number invokes Satan. In manuscripts of the New Testament, 666 was associated with the beast, who was an antagonist creature in the apocalyptic vision. In Revelation 14:9, it says if anyone worships this wild beast or its image, they'll get a mark on their hand or forehead and will be tormented with sulfur and fire in the sight of the holy angels, and that your torment will last forever and ever, which last time I checked is a pretty long time. This is such a big deal, it's actually an official phobia. It's called, and bear with me because it's the longest word I've ever seen, it is called hexaphobia. Oh, my mind can't even wrap my head around that word right now. I need a minute, guys. But anyway, the number was also associated with the Roman Emperor Nero, who is as vile as they come. He got his mum and first wife killed, and he killed his second wife, who was pregnant, by kicking her in the stomach. He was also extremely violent towards Christians. John, the author of Revelations, used a puzzle where numbers represented letters, and in that, Nero comes out as 666. So the number has a lot of troubling history behind it, so the masses tend to avoid saying it, having it written anywhere, avoid it being your apartment number if possible, etc. Starting us off with number 10 is sard, and surprisingly enough, I didn't even know this word existed, but it does, and it has many meanings. A sard is a kind of reddy brown type of mineral, chalcedony, and it's the name of a village, it's the name of a Japanese racing team, but the most important one is that in medieval times it was the F-bomb. And honestly, we were pretty naive in thinking other eras didn't have their version of just like we do. It even appeared in a 10th century Old English translation of the Bible, and the sentence was, "Don't sard another man's wife." So it can be used as a noun and a verb. Another personal favorite of mine is you can go and sard yourself and the horse you rode in on. Because if you're gonna curse the person, you may as well curse their horse as well. Go big or go home, people. That's the rule. That's the rule here at Top 10. The word probably died because of overuse, like will one day as well, and maybe future generations will have their own version of the curse word, who knows. Coming in at number 9 is Xander Kite. I know it sounds like I'm just making up random ass words at this point, you guys, but these are 100% real, I assure you. Originating in the Victorian era, Xander Kite was a curse word that essentially meant idiot, someone with little common sense, was clumsy, and often made very silly mistakes. The origin of this word is German too, which I feel is slightly obvious. I mean, it sounds German. The sentence example would have been, say you're just riding along in your horse-drawn carriage and someone overtakes you, you can be like, hello, get out of the way, you Xander Kite, or it's my right of way, you Xander Kite. It's versatile, the options are endless, I like it. At number 8 we have Pizzle, which completely sounds like it could be the name of the next upcoming rapper, like Lil Pizzle. I'm here for it. But either way, the word actually came from the German Pessel, and it meant sinew. But that's pretty boring, and it wasn't used like that anyway after it was adopted. In Elizabethan England, Pizzle meant phallus. And I know you'd probably think that only commoners use the word, but Shakespeare actually wrote it into Henry IV Part 1. Falstaff said, "S'blood, you starveling, you elfskin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull's pizzle, you stockfish." And I haven't read that particular play of his, but this dude seems very I mean, who hurt him? And funnily enough, Shakespeare itself was a slang word for pleasuring yourself, so maybe he just found humor in it all. Either way, we learn something new every day. Filling our number 7 slot is Biscumber, which sounds like what one of those rich landlords would say back in the day when they're not satisfied with something like, "Ugh, Henry, that is simply Biscumber." Despite sounding very archaic, it's actually not that old. The curse word came about in the early 20th century, and it means to spray poo on, or if you want to get fancy, to discharge or dung upon, because apparently we could dung on other people back in the day. The sentence examples they gave with the word also really cracked me up. Pete always took an unhealthy pleasure in any accidental bescumbering of unaware ramblers who dared cross his fields. Safe to say, I think our boy Pete has some issues. And I feel like if we use the word these days, it'd be like a subtle flex. No one would know you were cursing them out, but you were. Don't you just love being low-key evil? I do. Now at number 6 is Nash gap or smell fungus. And honestly, these words sound like a type of toe fungi or a type of wart, but they are far from it. So Nash gap originated in the 18th century in northern England, and it was used to curse out someone who finds faults in literally everything and just complains 24/7. And I'm sure that we all know many people like that, and honestly, if I'm having a really day, I too am a Nash gab, but then put some food in me and I'm less Nash gabby. And the exact same definition goes for smell fungus, which I think is a bit of a cop-out curse word considering they probably just got lazy and put 2 words together. Coming in at number 5 is Gobamoosh, and trust me when I say we all know a Gobamoosh, and if you don't know one, you probably are the Gobamoosh of your group. Originally an Irish term, Gobamoosh is what you would call someone who just sticks their nose in everything and meddles in everyone's business. Any in-laws, landlords, handmaids, they were all probably Gobamooshes. If that's even the plural of the word, I really have no idea. But the word also had another meaning. It was also used to refer to someone who wanted to make someone else's life better against their will. I don't know who wouldn't want their life to be better, like who doesn't want that? Am I missing something here? At number 4 is Timphallus, and despite having phallus at the end of the word, no, this word has nothing to do with the nether region of a man's body. This curse word is probably the oldest one on the list. It originated in Greek mythology in one of the 12 labors of Hercules. He had to kill all the Stymphalian birds, which were huge, monstrous, man-eating birds that had metal feathers and beaks and who produced the stinkiest, most toxic guano your brain could wrap its head around. Guano is poop, in case anyone was unaware. So based off that, a Stymphallus was someone who just smelled really bad. A person with BO, someone who needs to invest in deodorant, someone who clearly smells like stinky toxic shit. Filling our number 3 slot is Tallow Catch, which sounds a lot more elegant than its meaning. It sounds like equipment you need for equestrian training, like, oh, just pass my Tallow Catch, will you? I'm about to take Daisy for a ride. But anyway, Shakespeare actually made up this curse word for his character Falstaff in Henry IV Part 1, and then other people just started saying it. Like, my guy William was a bit of a potty mouth. I swear he's used like half the words on this list. Okay, I don't know if this is a thing now, but when I was in primary school, the biggest insult people would use against each other was stuff like, your mum's fat, hey, your mum's obese. And even though my mum is not, I still got really riled anyway. So I guess those insults rode the wave of Tallow Catch because the word means fat as hell. It was derived from the word Tallow Catch, which literally means a barrel of fat. So back then they were probably like, hey Edward, your mum's a Tallow Catch, and then he'd, drop the mic. Now at number 2 is Fustularian. I'm sure many of us have experienced talking to a boy or a player where you know the whole thing is just a bust, they're just talking out of their ass and you're like, give it a rest. Well, that's what you'd call a Fustularian, a low stinkard or scoundrel that just talks and talks and talks and wastes your time. In Romeo and Juliet, I'm sure Rosaline would definitely be calling Romeo a Fustularian to her friends. I mean, he literally just up and dropped her when he found someone better looking. Everyone sleeps on that fact, by the way. It wasn't a tragic love story, he was a bit of a player. But anyway, funnily enough, Shakespeare used this one as well in Henry IV Part 2, and it's Falstaff again coming in with, away you scullion, you rampallion, you Fustularian, I'll tickle your catastrophe. Like seriously, who hurt you and what are these swear words? And it's also weird because the name itself sounds almost good, like I could imagine someone of high standing being a Fustularian, like, oh, what's your occupation? Oh, I'm a Fustularian. I mean, it sounds bougie. Am I the only one that thinks that? And finally, at number 1 is Supercalifragilistic, and I purposely left this one for number 1 because it was a big one. This word is honestly so cursed, I didn't want to include it in the video because I was scared. Like, I know I said all the words in the previous video and this one and it was all well and good, but this one I feel like I have to do some good luck ritual after it or something. Originating in the 18th century, the word meant supercalifragilisting yourself, everyone around you, and specifically their mothers. It's been known to bring bad omens to anyone who says it, so if I never come back for another video, then you guys know it's because I said supercalifragilistic and it caught up with me. I don't want to expand on the word anymore because I can already feel the bad juju around me and I'm done. I'm done with it.